Okay, there sitteth the bike with front wheelness, wheellessness. Ain't got no front wheel. Over here we've got the brake assembly all cleaned up and put back together temporarily. And it's looking nice and clean and ready to go. Axle and little clip and the old shoes which will be discarded and new ones ordered. Here sitteth the wheel of which I'm going to replace the bearings. And I'll start this process right now, but then I'll set up the tripod and continue it. So I'm just going to take this out of here. And little inner washer on top of a felt washer, sort of a seal, okay? We'll just set that aside. And here sits the original ball bearing, wheel bearing. They feel really good. There's nothing wrong with them that I can feel, but I'm going to replace them anyway with sealed bearings. So, because I stock a bunch of them. So I'm going to start, I'm going to set this thing up on a tripod and we'll continue. All right, I got the bike wheel up here and flipped over. This little bearing returner is not left-handed. Normally they do mark them LH for left-handed. This one is right-handed. I have two of these really cool little tools that go into holes on these brake retainers for different bikes. And this one's big and usually for Triumphs. And this one will go into these little bitty holes like so. Now I'm cheating here because frankly I already broke this free and cleaned it up. But I'm going to show you how these work. I just hold them in here gently. Gently, gently, gently. Come on, be gently, gently. Into the little hole like that. And then I can just tap it in a little. And then this guy will unscrew it all the way around. Okay, the inside is the felt seal for oil, and this guy rides on the bearing itself. So we'll put them over there, we'll clean those. This bearing now comes out. Now the fun part about this particular wheel and others similar, there's a spacer in there. So you can't really put a rod in there from this side and knock out the other one, or put a rod in from the other side and knock this one out, because the spacer in there doesn't give you a lip to fool with or to catch and do anything with. So what I do is I use a bearing puller, of which I have a set here, and I use this one, which I have slightly modified to fit these bearings on these different wheels. And I put it in here like so, and it clicks in right behind it. Then you tighten it down. So now it's got this little lip behind that bearing. Now let's see, I think I take two of these 3/4 and tighten it down. Okay. Now the theory is you take your slide hammer, you put it on here, and you slide the heck out of it and you pull that bearing out. I've never liked that. So I do it to what I consider to be a much easier way. All right? I just take the wheel and a punch, sometimes just the axle, with that in there like that. Let's see, let's let you see this. I go through like this to the other side and smack it with Jake. And there it goes. And obviously I didn't have that tight enough, so you've just seen a foible. Okay, so let's try to do this again without the foible. It'll teach me to not tighten it enough. Let's do again. All right, one more time with gusto. Please tell me there's no retainer there. Nope, there's no retainer there. And there it comes. And that's bearing number 1. Now, theoretically, what we can do is take the spacer out and then knock the other bearing out. Now, if the spacer comes out this side, and it does, see, this is cool. This is the spacer. Look at all that grease. People have crammed grease into it, and this part doesn't turn. There's no need for grease in there. That's a complete waste of grease. Oh, gosh. Put that over there. Actually, it's perfectly good grease. Just use it on my bench. So, now, is there anything in here to support it? Nope. So the bearing goes right in here to that stopping point. All right, now let's take out the other bearing, which I think I can just simply hit out with this guy on here. I'm going to hold him over here. You can't see this, can you? Let's see. And there goes the bearing. Good. All right. There's part of the spacer, the other end of the spacer. Okay. And the bearing's probably down underneath the bench by now. And halfway to Tucson. Okay. This is a double row bearing on this side. It actually feels a little bit rough. Not bad, but a little bit. Okay. All right, I'm going to stop this for a second while I go get the new bearings. Well, don't you know, I feel like old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard to get her poor dog a bone. When she got there, the cupboard was bare. I have the single row bearing in stock, half a dozen of them. It goes right there. I don't have the double row bearing that goes on the other side. And this is the one that has a little bit of rough feeling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back on the other side. Oh my, it is so hot out here, the camera overheated and stopped. Bottom line is I'm going to put this wheel back together temporarily with the new a single row bearing, the old double row bearing, put it back on the bike so I can roll the bike out of the way so I have my work area clear. I'm now going to go inside and I'm going to order the shoes, the springs, and the double row bearing, sealed double row bearing, the double row bearing for the other side. So anyway, that's where we're going to call it a day at this point. It's about 20 to 3, and it's hot, and I'm getting an overheat warning on my camera right now, so I'm going to chop this off.